live?
Yes, I think we are live.
Are you sure?
No. There we
I'm
are.
not sure.
All right, here we go. Day
Hello.
2, take 2.
Day 2, take 2.
Hoping this works.
So the issue with the first one was apparently we looked like poorly dubbed over Karate Kid video. So when you're coming on, let us know if our lips match our sound. This is one of those moments where I'd love to be a ventriloquist and do the wrong thing just to bug you. Laura! Monet, we're back. Hi, Casey. Hi, Jen.
How does it
Carly.
sound? Are we good? Is our sound good? Is our video on point?
Hi again.
Long time
no
no
see.
see. Still a delay.
What do we do?
Oops.
What do we do if there's still a delay?
Is it back for everybody? Is there a delay for everybody?
Just tell us how. I think we should maybe talk, and it's going to help them know. We are live, and it sounds great.
Okay.
Okay.
And our lips match our words. Ah, you still do look overdubbed. Why is it for some people and some not?
I have no idea, but hopefully the replay should be good. We'll press on.
Yeah.
We'll figure it. Hopefully on the replay it's good.
Please talk again.
Okay.
For those that are having troubles, just maybe close your eyes sometimes and just listen if it's getting
Yeah, or refresh
overwhelming.
maybe.
Yeah, refresh the page.
Okay. So one thing that I felt pulled to say to everybody when I was going through all your comments is that we've got to feel in our lives like there's an abundance of love. It's like any other thing in your life that you want to manifest. When you feel there's lack, you're going to experience lack. If you feel there isn't enough money in your life, you're going to focus on where there's the lack of it. You're going to make decisions based on lack. If you fear that there isn't enough air, you're going to feel like you're running out of air. If you feel like there isn't enough love on the planet, you're going to start acting like there isn't enough love on the planet. And the issue with this is you're going to go with the first person that comes into your life, not because they're the right person, but because it feels like you're running out of love and you got to jump on the first opportunity. Now, I know that some of you here are married, some of you are in long-term relationships, and some of this may not apply for you, but still, you got to remember there's an abundance of love in your relationship. Even if sometimes you may have difficult conversations, even if sometimes it may be a little hard to get to the point together, if you remember there's an abundance of love in your relationship, there's an abundance of love in your life, you're going to start acting in a very different way. So when I was single, and I think the way we're going to do this is we're going to bring things like, what does it look like for the single person? What does it look for early stage relationships? What does it look for long-term relationships? And like Kevin and I have been engaged for 2 years now. We are very much in love. We should be married. It doesn't, at a certain point, it's like, we're talking long-term relationships, whether that means you're married or whether it means you've been together for a long time. So we're going to go early stage, like dating, not quite committed to forever, long-term / forever, and then the early stages, right? So I'm going to take you through these 3 things. When you believe or fear that there isn't enough love in the world, you're going to make decisions based on the lack of love. If you feel like you're overflowing with it, there's relationships all over your life, you're completely surrounded by love in your family, with your friends, with yourself, it's going to change the way that you show up in the world. When you feel like you're lacking, you're going to try to grasp onto the first thing that you can. So inside of this program, what I think is really powerful is the ability or the opportunity to really look at your life and decide how you want to operate from a place of abundance in love. Love, money, these are all things people have just been on autopilot for all of their lives. It's been like hope for the best, pray for the best, work hard, and push, and try to push and make it work. And I think this is one of the reasons a lot of times when men hear, I want you to do this work with me, or I want you to do the work, that doesn't sound too fun. Like, I often hear men say, like, do the relationships have to be so hard? Does it have to be hard work? Now, what we call the work as women doesn't sound quite the same for a man, because hard work to a man and working at something doesn't feel the same as we got to work at this in the way that we say it and the way we mean it. So a really awesome conversation to have with yourself and a good question to ask yourself, and you can both partners do this if you're together with your partner, or you can do this just for yourself if you're alone, but what does the work mean to me? So many of you said, I want to manifest a guy that really wants to do the work with me for all of our lives. I want to manifest a partner that wants to do the work. Now, you've been reading while I've been talking. Is there something?
There was a brilliant question up here by Kelly. To Kevin's point about making space for a partner and doing things for yourself, what's the balance between having that space, i.e. taking care of myself, and not appearing too independent? It's not you don't appear independent when you're loving on yourself.
There's a difference between I can do it myself and I'm feeling pleasure, I'm feeling enjoyment of life, I'm happy, I'm grateful. I think it's your ability to receive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you receiving from yourself opens up the floodgate of receiving from the universe. You doing for yourself is the masculine energy. So it's more getting in alignment with the receiving from yourself, doing things for yourself in order to receive from yourself.
And just a quick little sideline there. We will get to all the questions. We will answer basically everything that people ask over time. So if we don't answer your questions here right now, it is coming, FYI.
Yeah. So one thing here, and you're gonna, I think this is a good point to make though, because Camilla says, like, how do you navigate the guilt? I remember when I first started doing this work, I felt so guilty for everything that I had done that I didn't know, for all the ways I had impacted all the people that I knew. That once I knew better, I was just like, oh my God, I messed this up so bad. Like, do I have to apologize? What do I need to do? The fact is, there really isn't a lot of teaching on this on the planet. It really is unfortunate, and it's sad that there isn't more work about this on the planet, but there isn't. So I think it is important for you to decide that today, you were today years old when you found out, and that was it. And it's what you decided to do after you really found out. You know, you've done your best, you're a good person, you've got a big heart, you've done what you've had to do, and now we're here. So where do you want to go from here? I think that's what's important.
I'll talk a lot about guilt on the Friday call as well. That's my specialty. Talking about guilt, dealing with guilt.
Yes. Okay, so what's your experience of the work? So why I ask this is because for a lot of people, the work means something is wrong with me or him, and in order for this relationship to work, we've got to fix it because something's wrong. And in that, you're kind of both wrong, which is really not a fun place to start building from. Gets really overwhelming. And a lot of like triggers come up during that, because the fact is, people are who people are, and we are an energetic match for love. If we acknowledge ourselves that we are where we are, we're an energetic match for love. But if there's something that we desire, like when we asked you yesterday, what do you desire to be an energetic match for? If what you desire to be an energetic match for is 30 steps ahead of where you actually are, then you're going to be in the void for a minute. And where we make the biggest mistake is that we declare big things like, I want to be an energetic match for a man who's going to do the work with me, who's going to be strong and brave and kind and courageous and patient and all these things. But I'm here, still a little trigger sensitive, still a little manipulative, still a little too quick to jump, still a little too not a match for the steadiness I'm wanting to align with. And I have got to calibrate. So there's a void now. There's a void between this human that I desire to be my partner and the way that I'm being. Like, it's not fair for him to receive you in the state where you are right now.
What I saw in the comments to the homework was people writing, here's where I'm at now, here's what I'm in an energetic match for now, here's what I want to be an energetic match for, or here's what I want to attract energetically. But if you're an energetic match for what you are now, are you willing to accept a man who's at that same level, who's willing to do the work? Or do you feel the need to already have someone that's doing or done the work, or is like coming into the relationship, I'm going, let's do this, come on? Or is it someone that's still just kind of trying to figure themselves out as well? Because that's how Melanie was a little ahead of me at the time when we first met, but that's what got it started. She was willing to take me as I was, and we grew together, separately and together. And that's the question I think you have to ask yourself is, am I willing to accept someone that's at my level now? Or do I need someone that's already there that I calibrate to. You can calibrate to the energy here and in other people that have incredible relationships around you as you go.
Because Kevin and I found each other in a place where we were an energetic match for each other where we were, and then had this amazing journey together. But we met where we were and we calibrated together. There are women who don't want to do that. They don't want to find a man right now. But this is the difference. There's a difference between finding a man you're an energetic match for now and calibrating together, versus finding a man that you're an energetic match for now and wanting him to be that way and trying to get him to calibrate. That doesn't work. So I think this is where the magic really happened for me, is I understood there was an abundance of love. I desire one man to do life with. One. There are billions of people on this planet. I desire one man. So why would I get stressed every time I meet a man that's not the right one? Why am I looking at that man as evidence that I'm going to be alone forever, when in fact, it's basically the goal. It's like, okay, meet this guy. Is he my person? No, I can tell right away. Okay. How about this man? Is he my person? Nope, can tell right away. Perfect. How about this guy? Is he my person? Nope. Okay. But we don't do that. Is this guy my person? Oh, maybe. Although he'd have to change this and this. I wonder if I can get him to change that. Maybe have a little bit of that. And maybe some of that. Ooh, and some of this. Almost. Maybe if he did a little bit of that, that would be really fun. And maybe if I added him a little bit. Let him go, bless his cotton socks. There's a woman three doors down that thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. Like, why are we needing the men that are not the energetic match to fit in this mold of like, we can make it work, let's do the work? It doesn't need to be like that. There is an effortlessness about connection. There's an effortlessness about a match. But what happens is when you attract someone, then you know what you're a match for. Now, if I attracted a person that was very mismatched for me, in my opinion, in my thoughts, like, this is not what I want, that is different than that is not what I'm a match for. The universe will give you what you're a match for. So it's like, interesting. How am I attracting this right now? So, I'm needing to be seen, I'm needing to be validated, I'm needing to be this, so I'm finding a guy who's doing this and that, okay. I'm seeing all the ways that my behavior is creating a match that's not necessarily what I want, what I desire. Am I willing to do the work? Am I willing to say, there's going to be a bunch of things in order for me to have the relationship of my dreams that I've got to also work on? Because this is the thing, one of the things, because Kevin was right, we did have a lot of conversations in the car. One of the things we were talking about is like, when I brought personal development to the table, it wasn't a question of this is what I'm doing or this is what I'm trying. It was just, this is who I am now. I didn't try to invite him into a way of being or push him into a way of being. This wasn't like a thing I was trying. It was just the standard of who I am is self-care, and you can tell me whatever it is that you got to tell me. I got you. I'll breathe through it. When I come to you with something, it's because I'm open to hearing your opinion about it. You have all the space to do what lights you up in the world, and if you invite me and I want to come, I'll come. If you invite me and I don't want to, I'm going to be very honest and tell you that I don't want to come tonight. If I want to do things for myself, I'm going to do things for myself. If I want to invite you, I will. If you don't feel like coming, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm going to make this really simple for us, and we're going to find out real quick if this works.
It was very simple for me. It was very easy. As I said yesterday, Melanie always told me where she was at. I always knew where I stood. I always knew where she stood. And she came and said, I am this. I am in self-development. I am a life coach. This is what I do. This is who I be. She didn't necessarily say it in those words, but she was just being it every day. At no point ever was it, I need you to do this with me so that we can grow our relationship. I need you to do this. It wasn't even, I want you to do this. She was always about, I want you to be happy doing the things that you're doing because I love you exactly for who you are today. And that's so freeing. It's so incredible to be just loved in the moment for the person that I am, for everything that I am, that I'm enough, even that early on. And you've continued to do that for every day since. But that gives men strength. And I mean, there's a bit of a flip side where some men with a little chip on their shoulder will say, just love me for who I am. But that comes from a place of, I don't like who I am. If there's a chip on the shoulder, that's an I don't like who I am. So their work is what we've been talking about, to love themselves first. Because if they don't love themselves, it's a lot harder to get them to do this work. And really dive into the things like the guilt and looking at the little boy inside that's controlling a lot of our decisions.
You know, I think one of the big pieces of this is, and for those of you who were in Magic on Legs, which I think most of you were, there's this energy of like, I'm the main character in my movie, and Kevin's the main character in his movie. So when I'm meeting a person in the beginning, what I'm looking for is, if I'm the main character in my movie and I get to be all of me, and he's the main character in his movie and he gets to be all of him, are we a match? Or does one of us have to do something else?
Or be something else.
In order for it to work to please one of the two characters. Because in a love story, it's two main characters. Because it's no longer me or you. Now it's us. It's me and you and us. So when I'm making a decision, yes, it's I care about me, but that's the decisions I make in my life, is I care about me. So in the beginning, if I'm choosing you, is I'm going to be very wise about whether I choose you or not, because I'm choosing for me first. I'm not going to choose you as my partner for you. That doesn't make any sense. So it's my job in the beginning for me. Once I decide that I want to have a next level conversation with you and a next level relationship with you, then I've also got to be able to breathe and do the work, not just for me, but for you. So now when you also need to tell me something that's important, something that you need, then I've got to be able to listen and not get really upset with you, because I made all the decisions for me first. But now if I'm really interested in having a relationship with you, I've got to see how I respond when you want something for me. When you want something from me. So at first it's just for me. Then it's also for you. How do I respond when you tell me you want something? How do I respond when you tell me you need something? And then when we decide we're going to make a go at this, then it's, I care about us. And in the decision-making process, it's like, what's good for us? But by the time you get to what's good for us, you've got to make sure you made the decision for you. You've got to make sure that you chose him for you. And then for him, able to hold whatever he needs. And then as the relationship goes further, how do we want to navigate this and how do we do this for us?
One thing that tweaked my brain is men very, very, very much, I don't necessarily want to say need, but deeply desire to be acknowledged. Acknowledged for what they can do, not for what they're expected to do, for the things they are doing. And Melanie has been fantastic at that since day one. Everything I've ever done has been enough. Everything I've ever done, she acknowledges. Whether it's making dinner, cleaning the house, building a website, choosing the right hat, any sort of gift, it's all been acknowledged. And that for me, for a man, puts me on fire, lights me up.
So this is a good question. What's the difference, or like not acknowledge isn't appreciated? Like how do you acknowledge a man?
Thank you for doing that.
So appreciate it?
Recognizing it. Just recognize, saying that you notice the work that he does.
Because sometimes you're just like, oh my gosh, you made dinner.
That's totally cool.
You're like, oh my gosh, it smells so good in here. You made this, you know, or what? You got me something? Why so like whatever it is, it's just I notice because
Just a thank you.
I was shocked by that too. And he was like, I love that you always notice. One of the things actually, one of the first things Kevin said to me that I was like, that no man has ever said this to me before. He said, I love the way you respond to my touch. Whenever I touch you, you lean into it. I didn't even notice I did that. So if he put his hand on my arm, I'd like lean into the arm. If he put his hand on my face, I'd just lean into the face.
It was in the car. I remember this moment, and I would put my hand on the back of her head. See what she did there? As we're driving, I put my hand on the back of her head, and she would just do this every single time, just to acknowledge that I'm there, just to acknowledge the touch, just to say, yes, I know you're there. Yes, I see you. Yes, we're in this together. There's not a moment of disconnect happening.
So sometimes we think we need to go over the top, and this is something I think that's important to say. You don't have to go over the top. Like your man doesn't want to be treated like a small child or a dog with a bone. Like this is not what it is at all. And we see a lot of women go so far, like, oh, our men want to be thing. Thank you so much for doing the thing. Like,
No.
It's not like that.
It's
It's a real just a connection of like not taking for granted and like, oh my gosh, you made dinner, you're the best. Like, did you do the dishes? Thank you. You know, like, oh my gosh, or just I feel so, you know, just there's a feeling of like you're here and you matter to me right now.
And Lee says, what if he mentioned it as soon as he does it? Where's the space for acknowledgement? If he's doing that every single time he does something, he's desperately seeking that.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that might be happening there. Number one, he's sort of being a little boy in the relationship. He's being the boy trying to impress mom, because that's in each one of us. It's not a bad thing. It's in each one of us. There's the little boy that's trying to impress his mom or his dad still. That we want that acknowledgement. He probably didn't get acknowledgement as a child.
Or he got a lot of it and now he's not getting any from you. And he's not used to that.
There's something missing and he just desperately wants it. So the goal there would be to acknowledge something that he has done, tried, someone he has been in the moment, a kind gesture, anything, where you can start to just give him a little bit of that, where he doesn't have to try and take it himself.
Now, it's also his ability to sit in the void, right? So for those of you who did calibration keys with me, like this is his ability to be in the moment between he did something and you said something about it. And his level of power is his level of power. And if he doesn't have a very high level of power within himself in the void right now, he immediately wants to fill the void with acknowledgement. Then you get to decide whether you're going to be ego driven and be like, well, maybe if you would have given me a second, I would have had time to tell you that I acknowledge you. Or you get to just say, you know, yeah, gosh, yes, you know, thank you so much. You need to say, I would have told you, I was going to tell you, if you gave me space, I would have? Or can you just be like, yes, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
And there's a difference between acknowledging and mothering. And being the, oh, you're so good, look at you, you did the dishes, you, congratulations. That is emasculating. That is like, no, this is not why I did it. And we don't do the things for the praise. We just love the acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
Please know this. We're not doing it so that we get praise. We do it because we need to do it. And when we do things that we need to do and we get it done, it's a little bit of a feeling of achievement.
So I think this is a great way to explain it. Acknowledging versus mothering. One is he's not a golden retriever.
Exactly.
Why is my eye itchy? One of them is something you do for you. So acknowledgement is, I see you. I'm pleased with this. I feel grateful. I feel so good. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And the mothering is, you did so good. And I spoke about this in Femme Fatale, and we're going to talk more about this on the call where it's just the ladies. But I'm sure if you're with your man, you can ask him. You know, it's the difference between he buys you flowers and you say, I love flowers. I love these. Wow, thank you. Or you saying, you're so nice. Ah, you're so kind. You're so thoughtful. Mwah, mwah. It's like I was hoping that I would make you feel something. I wasn't going for brownie points. I was going for you're excited, you're happy, you feel good. I nailed it. Not I'm kind, I'm so nice, I'm so generous. I shouldn't have. The worst.
Ooh, I shouldn't have.
So it's like knowing the difference between acknowledging means this is my reception. This is the impact on me when you did that. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. It feels so good. Oh my gosh, you did the dishes. That feels so good. Thank you so much. It's like you're acknowledging what it feels like when they did this. It impacts you in a positive way. And the other one is giving them praise. Like, good for you. You did the right thing. So proud of you. Good job.
And yes, Coral, it's hard when men act like little boys in a relationship, when you want to be with a peer, with a king and a queen kind of thing. But you know, that's our work. Our work is to try and not be the little boy, to mature into the mature masculine. And it's the queen's work to not be the mother when he is that. You know, it's not just a one-way street. We both have to act on this. We both have to try. We both have to change our responses to the things that we're feeling on the inside.
Well, Betsy's bringing the point back again. It's like if a man doesn't receive appreciation, well, how do you fill that space for him? If you say, I feel so good, thank you, there is no... What he doesn't like is feeling like it's condescending, like, oh my gosh, you did the dishes. It's like, of course I did the dishes. I've done the dishes so many times. This is like, you just didn't notice. You know how many things I do around this house that you don't notice? Don't tell me like that. There's a difference between that and being like, oh my gosh, I am so happy right now. I can't even tell you. I feel like, thank you. Or just, it feels so good to come home to the smell of cooking dinner in the air. I feel like the luckiest woman. I'm so grateful. Like, what is it that you feel?
It can even be smaller than that. It can just be, thank you for getting the car fixed.
You could, except I'm over the top. So here's the truth.
But I'm just saying, it's not it's not the same for everybody
you're right.
necessarily.
And thank you for saying that, because I am a little over the top. Where like
I love your over the top.
Yeah, but I get very excited about things. Like I am so grateful because I feel like, and this is the thing, Kevin, and maybe it's because I'm so excited about life. I don't know, but he always goes above and beyond. Like, okay, for Valentine's Day, I've got to tell you what he did for me for Valentine's Day. This is so next level. So first of all, we drive to the log house, and then he says, I need 5 minutes to set up. So already I'm in love with him. Like, what do you mean you need 5 minutes to set up? I freaking love you. So I'm waiting. Plus, the other day he was there all day. On Saturday, I had a Matrix call all day, and Kevin was at the Fiddler house, the place. So I'm waiting in the car, and then eventually he comes out, and he's like, okay, I'm ready for you. So I go in, and he has got a chalkboard that says Alpha Spa on it with all the treatments I'm going to be receiving for this day. There's a bottle of champagne on ice. This is all on the table as you come in, as if you walk into a luxury spa experience. There's candles lit all over in the living room where we sleep, with the bed and all the things. Fresh roses. And then he takes me upstairs in the waiting area where he's reorganized the bedroom to look like a waiting area with magazines and things. And he's drawn me a bath, and there's candles and crystals all around the bath. And I'm like, and he's talking to me like this. The first treatment that we have in store for you is going to be a soaking tub. So you can sit here in the waiting area, and we're going to come back. And I'm like, what is happening? He went full in with the whole thing, the Alpha Spa, the whole... I was so excited, I thought I was going to jump out of my skin. I'm like, you are the freaking best. Are you kidding me? This is so next level. I can't. This is so next level. I probably could have been like, thank you for the Valentine's Day. Except I'm not like that. I just get really super excited. Of course he's pleased with
I am so pleased.
He nailed it.
And she's telling other people about how great it was.
It was really freaking great.
That's like super acknowledgement.
But like it's, and then other times I'll be doing my calls, and then I come upstairs, and it's like he's in the kitchen, and he's been making this dinner, and there's these plates out, and he's like plated these shrimps, all plated perfectly with the little spices, and I'm like, what is this? And he's just made this for you.
However, 2 years ago, I couldn't cook worth a damn.
Can you say that?
Sorry, kids. 2 years ago, I couldn't cook worth beans. I couldn't even cook beans. So, Melanie, literally, she would say, here's what I want to eat. And she would make, and I remember the first time you made this shrimp pasta, this lemony, wonderful shrimp pasta. We were in Hawaii, I think it was. And you made this dish, and I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever had in my whole entire life. I want to learn to make this. So, I screwed it up a few times. And it didn't turn out really good. But now I'm a master. I cook shrimp and pasta the best. And I make sure that it's plated beautifully. In fact, I make sure hers is plated beautifully. Mine, maybe not so much, because I'm not as... I don't craft dinner...
I've told people about that.
All right, secret recipe. Secret recipe. Best craft dinner ever. And for those that are not Canadian, is it craft dinner in the States? Mac and cheese, whatever it is. Mac and cheese.
KD, for sure.
KD. Make the KD. Don't use all the cheese that comes with it, just most of the cheese. You're going to cut up about 3 good-sized pickles into little tiny chunks and banana peppers and put them in with it. Stir it up. So good.
So good. So here's the thing. When I used to do all these things for myself, and I would romance myself. I would draw myself long bubble baths. I chose champagne because I love the way the bubbles sparkle. He has watched me set my spaces up for myself 100 times. And when it's Valentine's Day and he wonders how to take care of me, he doesn't have to think very far to know what I'm gonna like. He just has to pay attention. And if he's the right guy for me, then he's paying attention. What makes it difficult is if I never do anything for me. I don't take care of me. I don't do what I love. I just wait for him to do it, and he doesn't. And I wait, and he doesn't. And I'm bitter, and I wait, and he doesn't. And I don't do it for me, and then it's time for Valentine's Day, and he doesn't know what to do to make me happy because he has no example. He doesn't nail it, I'm disappointed, and then he never wants to do it again because there's too much on the line. The one thing in our relationship is Kevin can't mess up. Like, if I can tell that he's done something for me, like, he can't take away from me with the love that he brings to the table. He just can't.
This was something I recognized very early on about Melanie, was I couldn't break her happiness about herself. I couldn't break her love for herself. I couldn't break who she was because she had such a strong standard. And that was awesome. Because then I could just come in and be myself and be a next level me that I knew that I could maintain because it was just adding. There was no pressure on me to be more than I was. And that became very exciting. It became very exciting to find out what I could do to just add something to her already incredible experience of her own life.
And he often said to me, like, I wouldn't have been willing to try this with anybody else. I've been too afraid to mess up, but you're cool if I don't do it perfect. Like, you're so cool. Like, how many times you burn, overcook the steak or overcook whatever, and we'd just laugh and be like, did you go to McDonald's? Like, we have had so many fun nights that have just turned into laughter because it's like, it's the intention, it's the love, we do our very best. And we're either so happy and it turns out to be perfect, or like it wasn't great and then we laugh about it and we do something else. But I think where it is the hardest for men is there's a very high expectation, and the opportunity to feel guilty and ashamed is like right there on a silver platter. Like, it's like a 50% chance you're going to feel guilty, coupled with a 35% chance that you're going to feel ashamed on top of that, and then maybe 15% you're going to nail it. Do you want to play?
And guys, it's our work to not get triggered by ourselves in that. Like, If we burn the chicken, yeah, we screwed up. Don't get over in your head about that beforehand. Or when you put regular dish soap in the dishwasher and
I share all the things. That was in Hawaii. Siri talking to me. In Hawaii, Kevin did the dishes. That was nice.
they were so clean. Those are the cleanest dishes we ever had.
It was like putting shampoo in the dishwasher. There were so many bubbles. It was all over the place.
It was quite spectacular.
It was awesome. So I think this is where the
Someone just call us Levin.
11. That's Lenny and Kevin mixed together. 11. So
Oh, that's great. Okay.
oh, I see. I'm the worst perfectionist and always point out the faults of the attempts. So this is where you can look at, where do I sit in the void between where I am and what I would have wanted, right? So you have something that you're ready for. There's something that you want. There's something that you desire, but you don't have it yet. There's a space. The person doesn't yet know how to nail the lemon shrimp yet. So you either acknowledge the mistake, the problem right away, or you feel gratitude at the attempt, and then there's an opportunity to try again. Like, how much do people want to help you? How much do people want to do for you is very contingent on how you respond if they don't get it perfect. Because if the only way to feel good around you is if you get things done perfect, people will try things a lot less. And in a romantic relationship, that becomes really difficult. Like, if you can't laugh at funny mistakes, at like, we laugh all the time.
Melanie is the funniest person I know. I laugh every day, a billion times a day. It's amazing. Can I tell a story from my childhood that I think might help in that case for people that are trying to be perfect, perfectionists? When I was 7 years old, I had a crush on a girl. I'm sorry, I had a crush on another girl.
I don't think I was born yet when you were 7.
You weren't.
So she was warming up my seat.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyways, I had a crush on her, and she went up to the board at school to spell the word pillow, and I remember this vividly, and she wrote Pilow, and I snickered and said Pilo, and the teacher got very mad at me and sent me to the office. And we do not laugh at other people's mistakes. I can still feel it.
The shame.
Yes, the shame, the guilt, and the fear that set in from that day. And I didn't realize it until late 30s. That single moment as a child shaped my inability to accept when I was wrong, to look stupid in front of other people. I needed to be perfect, especially around spelling, and I had forgotten that moment. But then when I remembered it, I can still sit there. At 7 years old, I can sit there, I can see it happening. I can still feel the shame and the guilt of the teacher telling me this. And the look on the little girl's face, who I just completely embarrassed.
Bless her little heart.
So there are certain things in our childhood that still control us, that we may or may not be aware of, that happened, that cause us to need to look perfect, that cause us to need to look a certain way. And there's an inauthenticity in that if I hadn't been already working on that when I met Melanie, that I don't know if she'd have felt the same way about me. Because, I mean, she didn't speak the kind of English that she speaks now.
How funny that I was terrified of looking stupid in front of you. That was my biggest thing.
You never did. But I would have come across condescending, arrogant, because of this thing that was still hanging on to me from childhood.
And it's a trigger, right? So that means you're a grown adult and you feel something and it takes you right back to the same overwhelming emotion you felt when you were little. It's like triggers create emotional portals where when you hit them, you go right back to that level of emotional intelligence. It's like once you feel it at a young age, you tell yourself, I never want to feel this again, so I'm putting this defense mechanism in place. So now you're a grown adult and your defense mechanism was created by a 7-year-old. It triggered right back to that 7-year-old space. So this is where like doing the work, as we call it, which is like moving through your triggers, is really important. But in the moment where you're upset by it and you feel like you're sitting in the 7-year-old seat and someone's telling you need to work on yourself, it's making things worse. So a lot of times I think also our mistake is we try to have our men fix the problem while they're in their trigger, or we're asked to change the thing, fix the thing while we're in our trigger, and it doesn't work. It's when we're outside with an outside perspective that it helps a lot of the times. So one question here is like, oh, we're 11 years difference.
She's 11 years older than me.
I'm 11 years older than Kevin.
I'm 22.
And I'm 44. Thought we were just telling lies. I don't know. I got lost somewhere.
We are 11 years apart.
Yeah, that's really important. If you screw up and don't nail it, so it's also like how you treat yourself is often a mirror for how you treat other people. So I was very severe with my expectations of past boyfriends, but I was also very hard on myself. As I started healing my relationship with myself and letting go of this perfectionist thing that had really been driving me for a very long time, when I changed the way that I was going to handle me. And this is the sentence you'll hear me often say is, I gave the compassion I prayed for. So I just started treating other people the way I would want. So if I burnt the dinner that I'd been slaving over, would I want the person to be like, it tastes burned? No, that would be like the worst thing on earth. I would want like, you nailed it. Let's get some sauce. You know? Like I would like kindness. I would like respect. I would like lightheartedness. So what does that look like if I give it to myself, and what does that look like if I give it to someone else? So it really is how you treat yourself shapes the way you treat other people. But you can't possibly be so hard on yourself and then give everybody else a break. It doesn't work. If you're that hard on yourself, when you give yourself such a hard time to be perfect and then someone just swans on in and gives you something to be mad about, you're like, do you know how hard I work to not experience anger ever? And then you just come in here and make me mad? How very dare you? Okay. Now, Kristen, what point in dating do you tell the person and discuss intentions for long-term partnership? So this is something, in my opinion, you've got to know is where you are. And this is why we asked you yesterday, what do you want to be an energetic match for? So when I met Kevin, I knew I was ready to walk into the sunset with the man of my dreams. Like I was ready to find the one. Did it mean the next one was going to be the one? No. It didn't mean the next guy I'm going to meet has to be the guy for me. I'm so ready. I'm done. Didn't mean that. It meant I am ready for the man of my dreams. And I'm not going to settle long term for anyone less than that. For me, right? So I am going onto this quest to find myself, to find the man of my dreams, and whatever it takes, like this is what it's going to be. So very fast, I told Kevin.
I was going to say that was one of our very first conversations.
Like right there, right in the beginning, like first dinner, first, oh, this could be romantically inclined. I said, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm actually ready to find the relationship that's going to be my relationship, but I don't want to put any pressure on you. I'm not saying that this is what you need to be for me. What I'm saying is that this is what I'm ready for. So I'm not ready to just jump into a committed relationship right away. Next time I do that, I'm going to know this is my person. So I'm right now I'm single, but not single to be free, single because the next time it's a yes, it's a forever yes.
Can you feel the energy in which she said this? It wasn't forward energy. It wasn't, are you it? Are you that guy? Is that the person? You better prove yourself, mister. No, it was, this is, again, this.
I think I should talk to you like that sometimes. Imagine. You better prove yourself, mister.
Oh, we'll do it like that. That's cute.
Okay.
This is gonna be a thing now. But it
where did this even come from for you?
Know. But it wasn't, it was just, again, this is who I am. I'm so strong in my conviction of what I desire maybe you can be that.
Maybe.
And then I went, ooh.
But now here's the other thing. If he would have known for a fact that he did not want to get married, I truly believe he would have said, oh, I want to be really honest with you. I don't actually want to get married. So I didn't ask him where he was at because I trusted in his power that if I said that simple to him, like, I am looking to find the man of my dreams. This is where I'm at. And I'm not, and please know this is not pressure on you in any way. Like, I'm just letting you know this is where I'm at. I'm single because next time it's the one, it's the one. So I'm happy to see you and to like have a good time together, and if this is going the right direction, that's fantastic. But it's just that I'm open, you know? And if he did not want marriage at all, or if he didn't want to settle down with one woman, I trusted in his power to say to me, I'm going to be really honest with you, I'm not actually looking for that. That's not where I'm at all in my life. And I don't want, if that's what you're looking for, I wouldn't want to waste your time because I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to be that guy. And it would have been so easy for him to do that on the first date. Why would he mess me about on the first date? You know, he hasn't involved anything. So either that, or I would have seen that he was not the one for me and I would have cut him loose. So there was no, something's going to break my heart or I'm going to miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime, because he's either already telling me he's not an energetic match for me, or I'm going to find out he's the right one or not the right one. It was like I set the context of my desires. And he could either say, okay, let's see where this goes, or let me show you right away that I'm not a match.
You know, I've worked with men in the past saying to them similar things, like, let the lady know that you're going on a date with your intentions right off the hop. It's like, well, you want me to let them know that I'm actually looking for someone to walk into the sunset with? Isn't that gonna scare them off? No. Not if you say it with conviction. This is who I am. And if it scares them off, it wasn't the right person. Simple.
Yeah.
If it doesn't scare them off, if they go, all right, let's do this.
Yeah, and if he would have said to me,
this might be the person.
Sorry.
That's right.
If he would have said to me on the first date, like, I don't really like that, that makes me feel like you're messing me around, I would have said, well, let me explain how I feel about this. I don't know you. But what I know right now, I absolutely think is fantastic, and I could see that I would want to see you again. And I want you to know that I'm not just seeing you for the fun of it. I'm not in a desperate need of us to get into a relationship fast. What I really am looking for is the one. And I don't want you to feel like you've got to be the one we just met. But I wanted to let you know where I'm at. I'm ready. And I'm ready for the one. And yeah, that meant I was seeing other people. I said to him, I'm seeing other people. And I basically said, because then he said to me, okay, at first that was the only conversation. And he said, how does this work exactly? Do you have this conversation with the other ones? And I was like, yes. It's like a circle. There's a circle. That's how I said it. There's a circle of men. And basically, it could be one date that I know right away is not the right date. It could be a second date. I'm not going to be intimate. And I did tell him this. I'm not going to be intimate. You know, that's not what this is about. But I am looking for the one. And he was like, okay. So we had that conversation. And it was a few days later that he said, so how does one enter this circle? If one wanted to enter the circle. And I said, well, if you wanted to enter the circle, basically it's just as long as this is good and it looks like it can go in the right direction, then it's great and we keep seeing each other. And if there's anything that I can feel is not right, at any sign that this is not right for me, if I feel like it's wrong, and if I don't feel right, then I will end it.
I was not seeing other people. For me, trying to see more than one woman at a time, impossible. Because just trying to, the challenge at that time to figure out women one at a time was plenty.
But this is the craziest thing, and it's, you may say that this is hypocritical, but if he had seen another woman, I would have ended it. Because, and I will explain why, he did not say to me, I am also looking to walk into the sunset with the woman of my dreams. And I am also seeing. So that if we're right for each other, that's amazing. But I feel the same way. He didn't say that. So if he would have seen another woman, it would have just been to add another woman. I was not seeing multiple men to add on another man because one of them wasn't enough. This wasn't about any of them being enough. This wasn't even about any of them being a relationship. This was about, for me, finding out who I am when I believe there's an abundance of love. If I'm making the decision of the partner I choose based on the perfect match for us, like this is the best for us, for me and for you, because I don't want to take you and then try to mold you into what I think you should be when there's probably 150,000 matches for you on the planet. Why are we doing this to each other? So it was like, for me, for you, for us. And men do better. Like if you watch The Bachelor and The Bachelorette is a far better concept than The Bachelor. Women in masculine energy trying to fight over a man, not the best. Men putting their best foot forward and the woman choosing, that makes so much more sense, because then the man knows he was chosen, and that is so powerful. Whereas women go, do you sometimes think about the other women? It's never a good plan.
And it never felt to me like she was trying to start a collection.
I wasn't keeping them all. That wasn't the plan.
It was just like the way that she said it now was the way she said it then. It's just, I'm looking for the one. As soon as it doesn't feel right with somebody, they're done. And I was like, okay. And she became so freaking interesting. I was like, I want to be that one.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
So here's another piece of it though. Because I wasn't putting any expectation on him, like he was meant to be my boyfriend or he needed to be something, then there was no expectation of him either. It was a full observing of him, a full witnessing of him, a full receiving of him and who he was, and like, do I like that? Does that feel good? And when I liked it, then I said it. I said, oh, I love that. That feels awesome. I love that. Thank you for that. So it was constant acknowledgement of the things that were good. And if I didn't like something, I really checked with myself. Is this something that is an ego thing? Is this a trigger thing? Or is this an thing? And my whole thing was, I'm not going to change this person. Like, I am not going to change this person. So I'm going to acknowledge everything I love, everything I adore. If I don't acknowledge it, it's because I didn't love it. And if it's not good, then it's over. And that was so easy for me to find. And, you know, I'm seeing women here saying I can see how this would work with clients. This is how I am with clients as well. It's like, I am, you know, I have the most amazing clients. I'm looking to help women create the most extraordinary lives in their lives. You know, we choose each other when it's as long as it's a good fit, it's a good fit. And when it doesn't feel good anymore, it's over. And when it does feel good and we continue to be friends, you know, like but it's the same kind of energetics where I have a circle of clients. I'm never like, I need a client right now. Where's the next client going to come from? Like, I'm never like that. So it's the same energy of being magnetic, right? For me to know who Kevin was, I needed to not change him. And too often we change our men too soon.
Write that down. That was huge.
You know, we change our men too soon because we're like, let's nip and tuck this little piece and just snip this and change that. And then all of a sudden, voila, much more pleasant. It's like, but that's not him.
And men will do this to try and get the girl. Unfortunately, it rarely lasts. Like I said yesterday, the 3 to 6 month period, that's when the real people generally come out if we're trying to be someone we're not in order to get something. And I see a lot of questions about when you get intimate, when you get the first sex. That's if your goal is sex instead of
the man of your dream in the sunset,
you're going to find a very different human.
So here's my other thing with this. If you're married right now, you may be going like, well, I don't think I can circular date. I don't think my partners would be very happy with that. Or like we've been engaged, or we've got kids, or what do I do? But here's what I found. The energy of the circular dating is what made it. It wasn't the fact that there were many men there. That was my gateway. That was my gateway because there was an abundance. And what's the best way to put this? Because I was so addicted to being seen by boys and I needed that validation, I always went for the fastest relationship. I just jumped in the first relationship and then tried to fix it for it to be good enough. That was the pattern. So when I actually gave space and I believed in the abundance of love, which is what having so many human beings in my world that actually were interested and were speaking with me and were potential suitors, like this energy, putting my hand in front of your face, and to not do that. When
You would think that this hand wouldn't go
I
in front of
know,
my face.
but it's because
flipped.
it's flipped.
Yeah.
When I realized it's my energy that was not able to be in the void. So at first, this was a great way because although it didn't fix it fixed the void of being alone, because there's always someone texting me. What it did is it showed me how much of my energy one person is actually supposed to get, and how much expectation you're supposed to have on a person, which really is like not much. So relationship to relationship, it changed me. But then I was still like caught up in the void of having all this attention. So this is where the shift happened when I became a coach and I started actually taking care of myself and focusing on me and then focusing on my clients and my work. And I realized like we're not meant to be admired by our partners. We're not meant to find our purpose through our partners. Like there's a difference between love and the work that you do. You know, like Beyonce can't get all the magic she gets on stage from her man. He'll never be able to give her that. And if she tries to compare, he'll always fall flat. But the audience will never give her what he gives her. That real partner, soulmate love, no one can give you that. But when we put all of our focus in one thing and we want our man to give us everything, we want him to be as excited to see us as the puppy we've got, and we want him to be as blown away by us as the fan in the audience at a Beyonce concert, and we want him to be like all of the things. It's like that for one human being, you're setting him up for so much failure. And then on top of that, you're triggered by failure, disappointed by failure, and then you make him feel small and insignificant. You trigger all his childhood wounds. It's like, oh my gosh, how is this ever going to work? Mm-hmm. So what it really did for me is it was fun. I really enjoyed that part of my life. When I look back in hindsight, I'm like, I'm really glad that I did that. But if a woman came to me and was like, okay, but I'm married, how do I do that? I would say what you've got to do is you've got to decide what your other things are going to be that take your breath away in life. What are your other things? Is it a friend that you go out with? Is it you have a hobby that you have? Is it your work, your passion that you have? What do you have that isn't all about him and the fact that he's got to do something for you? And during that time, while you're filling your cup up, then he doesn't need to do anything.
I remember Melanie wanting to go to a ballet. And she said, I'm going to go to the ballet with my mother. And it was just before Christmas, or just after Christmas.
I told you before Christmas.
You told me before Christmas. And I was like, I
was like, I want to go to the Nutcracker. I feel like it's the most romantic, like, you know, like the Christmas classic thing to do at Christmas. So I'm going to take my mother.
And she said it so beautifully, like this romantic thing, like something that I would want to be going with her, but I've never in my life wanted to go to the ballet. But I thought, I just want to be around her because she's going to go there and have a great time. I could be the one that goes there and has a great time with her and possibly experience something new. We'll see. So I went and I got drinks. And I walked her to her seat, and we looked real nice and dressed up and everything. And that was one of the first times with you I felt almost wealthy. And we didn't have anything then. Mm-mm. But we dressed up and we went out, and it was an extraordinary experience. I don't remember much of the ballet. What are the things you were saying?
It's because the funny thing about that is I didn't expect Kevin to love going to the ballet. And he didn't love going to the ballet. It's not like I turned my head and all of a sudden I'm like, Kevin, are you having a good time? And he's like, the sheer eloquence of this event is jaw dropping, and the costumes are bringing a tear to my eye, and I can barely handle myself. The music, it's stirring my soul, my very soul. Like, it's not like he was having an experience. Like, Kevin, are you okay? I'm having a moment.
No, it didn't. It wasn't that.
It's like every time I'd turn my head mildly, he'd just turn around and look at me. Okay, you having fun? I was like, I'm having so much fun. He's like, okay. Do you want another drink? Do you want something? And I was like, no, I'm good. Okay. Like, he was just there with me while I was in awe of the ballet. But Kevin was not in awe of the ballet. And he didn't need to be in awe of the ballet. He didn't need to pretend he was in awe of the ballet. But if I would have been like, are you enjoying it? Or do you like it? Do you think that this is fun? I should have come with my mom. You don't care about being here, do you? What's your best part? What's your favorite part? Were you sleeping? Did I just look at you? Were you sleeping right there?
I did not sleep.
The first time you didn't sleep.
You sell out. You sell out. What the? Okay. Look at this. We had this conversation in the car. We talk about what we're going to discuss on the calls. And I said that line. I said, well, I didn't fall asleep the first time because we've gone to the ballet twice. And she said, you cannot say that. I don't want you to say that you didn't fall asleep. And then she says,
I felt it would be funnier if I said it.
Is that what you didn't want me to say?
It's my line. I say the funny things.
Brilliant.
So,
oh my goodness.
You know, if I'm gonna be like, you're not enjoying the ballet. You fell asleep. You don't even care to be here.
I'm learning this, Lola.
You know, if it's like you were asleep, you were not even listening. You're not even caring. Then he feels like, okay, you know what? Next year, I think you should go with your mother because I can't be enough for you. Yeah. But if I'm like, you're so awesome, I can't believe you took me to the freaking ballet. And he's like, of course, because I knew you'd love it. It's like. But savage.
That's so good. Oh, that's fun.
So fun. So honestly, this is the thing. We have fun. Like, bless his heart. If he doesn't love the ballet and he wants to take me to the ballet so that he gets to see me happy at the ballet, that is insanely awesome.
I didn't have to take her to the ballet. I didn't have to go to the ballet. She didn't pressure me to go to the ballet.
I said I was going. I said I had this great idea. It's going to be so amazing. It's going to be so beautiful. Perfect Christmas vibes. It's going to be the most amazing memory. I think I'm going to take my mom. And he was like, hey, excuse me?
In fact, I believe that you tried to talk me out of it a couple times.
Yeah, I did. I was like,
just making sure that it was something I wanted to do.
Because he said, well, excuse me, if it's romantic, then shouldn't I be taking you? And I said, but I didn't mean romantic like romantic. I mean romantic like fairy tale-ish. And he was like, exactly. If it's a fairy tale, shouldn't you be going with me? And I was like, but you don't want to go to the ballet. And he was like, you're right. I was like, so? My mother will love to go to the ballet. And he was like, yes, but I want to go where you want to go for the magic of Christmas. And I was like, yes, but you could watch something on you could watch sports.
I'm sure there was a hockey game on.
For sure there was. And he was like, yeah, but then I'll just be wondering I'll just be wondering what you're having. I'll think of you the whole time. I might as well go with you. I was like, okay, you can go with me. Let's see what this is like. And I just had no expectation. I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to come, you better like it, because I would have had a great experience with my mother. You know, it's just like, he cares to come with me. Let's see what this is like. Poor mom. Mom got shafted, bless her heart. but like, this is the magic of
Sorry,
you decide what you want. You set the context up. You set the vibe, and then that's it. But you want to know, I do the freaking same for Kevin, because we went to a wedding 100%. For my friend Courtney's wedding, and we went to Chicago for her wedding. And it was like, do you want to come to this wedding with me? He was like, I would not miss this wedding for the world. Like, are you kidding? He's like, no, there's no way. There's no way. There's nothing in the world that you could do that would stop me from going to Chicago with you to this wedding. And I was like, well, this is incredible. I've never seen you so passionate about the wedding. He's like, okay, in full transparency, it's because there's a ball game less than 24 minutes away from the hotel we're staying at, and we're going. Actually, there's 2 ball games.
We went to Milwaukee too.
Yeah. So, but then the thing is, his excitement, and he didn't say to me, you've got to come to the ball game with me. He said, do you want me to figure out to go to the ball game while you guys are? I was like, no, I definitely want to go to the ball game with you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even understand. I have a Facebook Live of me explaining the ball game after Kevin explained to me the ball game.
She understood it very quickly. I was very impressed.
I was like, Kevin, tell me, what are we doing here? What's that little dude doing right there? You know, like what's all the things? And I said, and if it gets like heavy in the game and you don't want to talk, like you don't have to, but if you feel like telling me, I'm listening. Like what's going on? So I was like, all right. We went to both.
We went to the Sox the year before that, though.
Oh,
and then it was Cubs at Wrigley Field.
But he was like, okay, now I'm going to go get us hot dogs because that's what we do here. I had a beer. I drank a beer. I had a hot dog. I did all the fun things.
This is an even cooler story. And we're just talking stories here. I hope this is okay with everybody.
It is, because we've gone past time. So at this point, we're just...
All right, if you got to go, we understand.
Yeah.
But one of our first dates ever, I didn't tell her where we were going. We're in Toronto. Get on the subway. Take the subway down. We're getting closer and closer to downtown. And more people are wearing Blue Jays caps, Blue Jays shirts. And then we're walking towards, I guess it's Rogers Center at the time, or Sky Dome, I don't know. We're walking towards it. Everyone is walking the same direction as us. Everyone is wearing Blue Jays paraphernalia. And it clicks. We're going to a baseball game. Melanie's never been to a baseball game. I didn't know that. I wanted to show her something that I'm excited about. So we went to the baseball game. And I said, do you want a hot dog? She said, I'll have whatever you're having. I said, I'm going to have a hot dog and a beer. Okay, I'll have a hot dog and a beer. After the baseball, actually maybe weeks after the baseball game.
I've never had a hot dog before.
Or a beer.
No, I never drank a full beer.
Yeah, okay.
I tasted beer, and that's why I never had a full beer.
She had never had a hot dog in her life. Or had a full beer. And she did it there. Joyfully.
So here's the thing.
That was impressive.
So here's the thing. And I want to flip this on its head. Imagine this. You've been dating a guy for a few weeks, and he tells you that he's taking you on a date. You get dressed up. And you realize minutes from the date that he's taking you to a sports game that you know nothing about. What are your choices? Are you kidding me? You're taking me to a ball game? I don't watch baseball. You see how I'm not dressed to go see a baseball match? Why didn't you tell me we were going to I wouldn't have dressed. Are you kidding me? Okay, well, clearly he doesn't care about me. Clearly he doesn't care. This is where he's taking me on a date. Well, what's on the menu? Hot dogs? I don't eat hot dogs. Beer? I don't want a beer. What else is there? That's about it. All right, I'm just gonna sit here. Of course I was in heels. In heels with a leather jacket and tight black pants, like not ready for a baseball game at all, because he wanted it to be a surprise. So here's the thing. I had 2 choices in the moment. To think he doesn't care about me, or to think he wants to go to the ball game. He wants to go to the ball game. And he knows that he does not need to invite me everywhere. And he knows that I've got a million things I can do. And he knows that he can have as much alone time as he wants. And he knows that all his friends are close by. He could have asked anyone in the world to come into this ball game with him. And he's taking me. So for whatever reason he wants me on this ball game, let's just go to the ball game. So I was like, well, there will be no complaining about these heels because I wore them. And clearly he doesn't think it's a problem. So let's go. We sat. He said, what do you want to eat? I said, whatever you're having. Turned out it was a hot dog and a beer. I had it. You know what? At the ball game, it was pretty great. And I laughed. And I told him, so what are we doing? And he showed me, and we had a great time. And would that have been my decision to say, like, take me to the ball game? No. But if I looked at it through, like, this guy is so excited to be at the ball game, and he could have chosen anybody, and he's chosen me, so why don't I go find out what he loves? I had an amazing time. If I would have looked at it like he didn't care about me, I would have seen the deficit in everything. If I saw it like he cared about where he was going and he wanted me there, then I saw the abundance in everything. So it's remembering, like, we're navigating, both people are the main characters in the movie. And it's equally important that each one of us are met. It's equally important that the storyline works for both. No, it was full gluten. Like, full gluten beer,
Actually asked
full
for
gluten.
extra gluten.
I wouldn't even be shocked. At that point, I don't even know if you knew what gluten was,
I
to
didn't.
be very honest.
Didn't.
If we want to be led, we can't get up their butts about how they lead. That is also very true. So it's like, I just went with it, and I had the time of my life because I got to experience what he feels like in his joy. And the baseball was his version of my opera, I guess. Except I think the biggest difference is that women have a story about what men should do. And men don't have that much of a story about that.
Men have a story about what women expect them to do.
So we box each other up differently. So what the goal is for this course today, and where we really wanted to take you, is that you're an energetic match for something at every point. And you can be an energetic match for something else in the making, but then there's the void. And the partner that you're going to find is either going to be, you need to calibrate to what you've just said you wanted, in which case you will be in the void for a very long time. Very long time could be a week, it doesn't matter. You're going to be in the void for however long you're in the void. It feels like a very long time because 5 minutes is a very long time when you don't want it to be 5 minutes. You're going to be in the void for what feels like a long time until you've calibrated to the kind of power you expect in the man that you desire. Or you're going to meet a man that's an energetic match for you, and you're going to calibrate together. But in that case, you've got to be willing to meet him, find out exactly where he's at and what he's doing, and decide whether it's good for you or it's not. And if you find that it isn't, that you're willing to move and to walk away. Now, I will talk about when it's just us girls, I will talk about circular dating a little more. I'm going to talk to you about those things. The goal is not to make your man feel like he's one of plenty. That's not the goal. The goal is not to create jealousy. The goal is not to play games. The goal is not any of that. The only goal is that you don't go with the first man that's the wrong guy for you, and that you don't just pick a guy and then try to change him. The goal is that you actually fall head over heels in love with the guy exactly the way that he is, so that you never need to change him once you've picked him. That's the goal. And you don't need the dating the way that I did it to find out because I understood the energetics after the system. And now that I understand the energetics, I can help you and I can support you in the energetics of this. What matters the most is that you care to see your man for who he is, and that you're either going to love him as your partner for who he is, or you're going to lovingly let him go because he's not the right person for you. But you're not going to grab the first guy in sight and try to change him into being the right person for you. We just don't do that anymore.
Can I talk to the guys for a second?
Yeah.
If at the beginning of your relationship you set a standard that was above what you were willing to continue doing, you lied about who you were. So you have an option now. You were able to keep up that standard for a month, 2 months, 3 months at the beginning of your relationship. If you can do it that long, you can do it forever. And wouldn't it be cool to see who you could be doing that for a lifetime and finding that excitement with your partner again? Because that's who you said you were at the beginning.
That's huge, Kevin. Thank you. So I can't wait to unpack this with you more. Suzanne. Lee says, what if you're a very independent woman who doesn't really expect much from your man? How can you help your man feel secure in himself when he's with you? If you are a very independent woman, but you're happy and You are not only in masculine energy, so you're capable of receiving. Technically, your energetic match is not a man that would feel insecure at all. You would attract an insecure man if you don't expect much from your man. You're independent, but you are judgmental. So you tell him he does things wrong a lot. Like you're happy to tell him he didn't do the right thing, potentially. Like you're not happy with something, you tell him right away. You maybe put yourself in the main character seat a lot, and there's not a lot of us in the relationship. So he doesn't feel insecure because you're independent. He feels insecure because he does things wrong a lot. Because technically, if you are independent and your receiving is fully turned on and you're balanced in masculine and feminine energy, you would not be a match for an insecure person.
The only other side that I could possibly think of is if you're not expecting much out of him, are you even desiring anything from him? You're desiring things, because that's different than expecting things. You know, when I hear independent woman, it could possibly mean I don't need a man, which it can go one of two ways. Melanie didn't need me,
but I desired to walk into the sunset with the man of my dreams. That's a fun, if you're gonna take the job description, I don't need a man, but I want to walk into the sunset with the man of my dreams. There's gonna be a lot more business cards attached to the second offer. Like, does the man feel desired in your presence? That may be where he feels insecure, because not needing him is one thing, but desiring him or not is another. That's great, good catch.
Thank you.
Aaron says, how do you better navigate with families and wanting your husband, partner to be there with you, but they don't want to go and always state that I never ask you to go and do anything, which, like you were just saying, I go along because I genuinely enjoy just being with him when we go and do whatever it is on his side of the doing things. So basically, whenever she wants him to come along, he says, I never ask you to do your things. I never ask you to do things with me, so why do you make me go? But she goes because she feels like she wants to.
Do you want him to go? Just say, again, it's going back to a desire. I would love for you to go. I don't need you to go, because to me at this point, probably in a relationship, the conversation's starting from a place of lack. You already know he's going to say no. So you're setting the precedent with your energy ready to protect yourself from him saying no, and opening the space for that, instead of leading with desire and saying, I would love for you to come. Let's go have fun. I'm gonna make it great. Somehow we're gonna have a fun to go ahead.
I have another thought though. So there's another piece of this, which is like, he may not like the same things you like, and it hasn't yielded a success for him to put himself on the line necessarily for you and do things that you love, because unless he does it and does it the way you want him to, it doesn't feel like he's done it right, or the acknowledgement hasn't been there and he's done the things often enough and it doesn't make a difference, so he just doesn't want to do it. That's very possible. So sometimes when you get to that point, you've got to have a conversation with your partner, and you've got to say, I want us to spend the rest of our lives together, and I want us to love our relationships. I'm noticing we're not doing a lot of things together, and I've got a couple of ideas that I would really love for us to do together, and I'm so open for you to think of a couple of things you'd like us to do together. I'd like us to see what happens if we make it a thing, because I miss that about us, and I'd love to see where that goes. Like, you can bring this up when it's not he's cozy on the couch and now you want to go, because sometimes that is a little difficult when they don't have a big vision in their minds. It's like, I don't want to go for a walk with you doesn't mean I don't love you. But if you have an important conversation, it's like, I feel like we don't really hold each other the way we used to in activities, and I go to things to find out what you love, and you come out to see what I love. I'd love us to bring that back into our relationship. Then later on, that's one of those moments, there's a context. So if at some point it feels like one of those conversations might be helpful, that could also help. But we'll navigate conversations a little later in the program.
That's a fun one.
Even if there's little things that he does that might be annoying. Well, here's the thing. I'm annoying. Like,
it took me a second.
Like, I'm annoying. I'm sure that, like, there's things in the moment that he's like, that's not that. I don't want him to love me because I'm perfect. I want him to love me because he loves me, because I'm annoying and funny and ridiculous and and wise and smart and playful and all the things that I am. If I only thought Kevin loved me as long as I wasn't annoying, I'd be terrified to be who I am. So do you really want your man to have to change everything about who he is in order to fit your bill, or do you want to stretch your emotional intelligence so you can handle him being a little annoying? Kevin's annoying.
I'm so annoyed.
He's so annoying.
It's like I really feel like annoying her right now in this moment. On camera. And even saying that is annoying.
It is annoying. It's like there's the little, men have a little thing sometimes, they just like to get away with just a little more, just make sure you just love them. Let me just do this little thing to bug you. Just men. Stop. Okay, so here's the thing. It's okay that he's annoying. If you love him, annoying is not a deal breaker. If you don't love him, annoying is a deal breaker. That's the thing. If you love a person, annoying is not a deal breaker. What a beautiful opportunity to offer yourself some self-compassion and be aware of this pattern to create more love and healing in the future. Okay, does this girl call apply to us who are already happily married? Yeah, we're talking all the girl things. What about when the energetics of those around you are affecting you and your ability to enter the void? So you don't enter the void, you're in the void. You don't enter the void, you're in it. The void is the space in your life. So when there's someone in your life that's annoying you, they're annoying you in the void. The void is where you notice the things. The void is where you're not distracted. The void is any place in your life where you're experiencing something that's not what you want. So what you're basically saying, what about when there's people in your life that are annoying you while you're in the void? Well, how you navigate yourself in the void shows your power. It's so easy to be circumstantially happy. As long as no one annoys me and everything's going well, I am powerful. That's circumstantial power. But when you're saying, okay, there are things in my life that are a little harder to figure out, and I can still be powerful there, and I can work through the things for myself, the more I do that, the more, it's like resistance training. The people who are energetically affecting you are the resistance. So you work with the resistance to train your muscle.
Somebody really early on had said something about my husband goes to work 14 hours a day and he doesn't want to come home and use his 6 hours to do this work. Call it something other than work. And this can absolutely be done at work. This is all internal stuff that happens regularly on a daily basis that we just have to recognize and change our reactions into chosen responses. And Friday I'm going to talk to the guys a lot about that.
So this is an interesting thing here. Would strong, independent women attract a man who's more feminine? A woman who is driven by masculine energy will get along more with a man who's more comfortable in his feminine energy because it's just energetics, right? Feminine energy doesn't mean female. Masculine energy doesn't mean male. Like the driven, go-getter, badass energy, that's masculine energy. The receiving, grateful, lean back, feminine, flowy energy is the feminine energy. So if I'm like super intense on a project or something and Kevin's just like lean back watching me be a badass, that's feminine, masculine energy, but Kevin's not being female. He's not being womanly. He's being receiving of my energy. When he's in charge and he's cooking up a storm and he's got me all organized and I'm just so grateful and I'm like, ugh, I'm in my feminine, he's in his masculine. So is it true? And if we're both in our masculine, we tend to work side by side, not complementary. So he's doing his thing and I'm doing my thing. If we're both in the feminine, so maybe we went and we had a spa day together, we both got a massage, we both slept in, we both needed a rest, we both have a cold, then neither one of us is taking care of the other one. So it's like we're in connection when we're balanced. This is the balance. And it's noticing that like each person is allowed to have their feminine energy moments and their masculine energy moments, but who you are and how you navigate your balance shows who you're an energetic match for globally. So when I was 90% masculine energy, constantly needed to be in charge of everything, could not lean back, could not trust, always needed to be in the doing, could not sit in the void, I was an energetic match for men who let me do that. They leaned back. They let me shovel the porch all by myself. They let me do the dishes and the laundry and the cooking and the cleaning and the shopping and the everything. And I made the most money and I made the things and I did this and I said, are you okay? You need to talk about it. What's wrong? What's the matter? Mothering. And they were like, this is fantastic. And then they'd fight with me over silly things, and then I'd scold them, and then
They would
all
fight
the
with you
things.
whenever they wanted to be in masculine energy for a moment.
Yeah. When they wanted to take control back, and I was like, don't you raise your voice with me, young man. Right? So sexy.
This whole thing was an excellent conversation for same-sex relationships as well,
Yeah.
because the masculine feminine balance.
Yep. So if you're finding yourself constantly attracting men who are in their feminine energy, it's not about more feminine, it's about feminine energy. But if you find a man that is feminine, it's because the woman is masculine. She's rough around the edges, she's tough. Because there's got to be a balance in a relationship. If it's not in balance, the magnetism drops.
I can even feel myself when we're both in masculine energy and we're needing to do something together. I can feel there's a tension there. I feel it inside me. I go, well, okay, hang on. We're about to do this. Take a breath. All right. Who's gonna lead here? Because it doesn't matter. We're both capable beings. Let's go. Let's do it.
We trust each other that neither one of us is going to steer the other in the wrong direction. So we can both be both in the masculine and both in the feminine, because we both know we can lead, and we both know the other person will lead us in the right direction. Lee says, because Kevin said a man wants to know what we expect of them. Thanks, both of you. I'll reflect on this. So when I'll give you a reframe in the words, and this is where you're going to notice with both of us, language is important. Like before, when I said, are you following me? And he was like, I'm following you. And I thought that meant he was with me, and he meant I'm way behind you. So when a man wants to know what you expect of him, it's like, I am looking to walk into the sunset with the man of my dreams. I am not making that mean it's you've got to be that guy. I'm just saying this is what I'm doing. He's like, okay, her expectation of me is, you know, if I make her upset, or if I'm not the one, she's going to cut me loose. She's not in a hurry to find the guy. She doesn't need me to be her boyfriend right away. She needs me to be okay that there's going to be other men around. And be open that eventually, if she is the one, that she's going to be the one. Am I open to all that? This is what she was looking for? Yeah, I'm in for that. That's kind of what he meant, I think. Yes.
Absolutely.
I do want him to go, and he usually does because of that, but I worry about him being there when he really didn't want to be. So instead of, and this is where we go back to the ballet, instead of saying like, you know, you didn't really want to be here, I shouldn't have asked you, or like, I feel guilty, you shouldn't have come, I should have brought my mother. It was the feeling of constantly being like, I am so grateful that you came on this walk, you're awesome. Like, it feels so good to me that you came. Thank you for doing this for me. Like, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you're there or afterwards saying, oh, I know you really don't want to be here, I know you don't want to be here, I know you don't want to be here, his whole thing is, look, I'm here. I'm going to do the best I can to make the best of it. Even if I didn't want to go, I came for you.
So why are we going to spend the whole time you telling me I didn't want to be here? Is this really what your idea of this was? Or like, I'm here now?
Yeah. Let's actually make the best of it.
Because if not, next time it's very easy to say no. It's like, no, because I don't want to do it. And even if I do it for you, you don't even enjoy yourself. So no, right? So it's who you are when he does decide and say, you know what, I'm going to do this for her. Like, who are you when he decides to do that? Jen says, love you guys. Pat and I are loving this.
Hey, Pat.
I would love, these are the best words. I would love, yes. How do you hold the excitement for the potential match while holding the trust that it may or may not align for a relationship in the future? This is the void. This is the void. It's saying, I am going to one day meet the person that's for me. There's no question about that. In the meantime, I'm going to have so much fun finding out who that person is, because every person is either going to be an amazing date or a last date, and that's going to be great and it's going to be fun, and that's awesome.
We should wrap this up.
How come?
Hour and a half.
Oh my Lord. How'd that even happen?
Don't know.
I feel like a lot of the time we treat our partners like we are perfect, so they should be. Remembering I'm not perfect has changed how I treat my husband. This is so huge, and it goes back to the pedestal thing. It goes back to the pedestal thing, and it's everywhere in life. Like, if I believe I have to be perfect, then I believe you do. Because I'm not going to spend my whole life trying so hard to be perfect just to allow you to not be. Then my standards of me are so high, you better be perfect. Instead of my self-love is so strong, you're held here, you're safe here. Like, I got you. It's such a different energy.
What a beautiful place to be. Billions.
Billy. The way my partner chews, but only certain things.
I love how many people are annoying. This is great.
Everybody's annoyed.
Everybody's
This is the
annoying.
best. I didn't think I could love you both more, but I do.
Oh.
Annoying is a deal breaker if you don't love him. Yeah. Yeah. I asked my husband today if he could give me his schedule so we could lock in sometime. His response was, so you can spy on me? I asked why he said that. I was surprised at his response. He said, I've got to stop thinking you're the old you. Okay, that's huge. That is huge. And I also want to say that, like, that is a very masculine energy thing to say. That's like, can you please check your calendar in so we can lock in some time? That is very masculine forward energy. So you're going to receive from him the feminine energy that's either a scared, wounded, whatever it is, because it was your wounded that asked, can we set time to lock in time? Because or else you would have felt free to say, hey, I'd love to hang out this week. When can we? So you're going to receive from him the feminine that was
Actually,
why?
that could be just the masculine, the little boy.
Well, the feminine is
Yeah.
a little boy.
Yeah.
But what I love even more of all of this is then he realized that was the old you, and that shows how much progress. And
Nice.
there's even more progress, Bernadette. This is the funnest thing, is like, you've come from the point where he thought you'd spy on him to now he's realizing you're not. Imagine what happens when he just is magnetized to you and in love with you and wants to spend time with you. Like, that's the next level from this.
This is the holding space for each other. That's fantastic. This is what's going to get you guys to the next level in a relationship. That holding space for each other, he got triggered a little bit and then went, hey, whoa, hang on a second here. I got to stop thinking that way. And you're holding space for him to have that little bit of processing time
Without getting mad that he
getting
did.
triggered that he did. That nice.
Yes. This is girls call is for all girls, all levels of relationship. What if you're already holding the frequency and have been, but the energetic match isn't here yet? So that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist that, okay, you holding the match and you being the match is different. So when you're saying, I'm holding the vibe in the void, then you've got to navigate your power in the void. How does it feel when you're alone? How does it feel when it's taking longer than you wanted? How do you take care of you? How do you show up for you? Because the thing is, the thing that you want, you are needing to calibrate to the thing that you want in order to create the relationship that you want. Before I met Kevin again, there was so many things that had to be cleaned up for me. Even if it felt like it took long before he came into my life, and it could have taken even longer, it wouldn't have mattered as long as he showed up in the end, you know? So it's like, what is your energy in the void? What do you tell yourself? How do you respond in that void? And this was a big piece of me. We'll do this in the next thing. I don't want to
Can
go.
I just add something real quick?
Yeah.
It says you're holding the frequency. Frequencies move. Frequencies are constantly moving. So it's very possible that your energetic match is waiting for you at just the next frequency, just the next step, just something else. Don't just wait.
Navigate the frequency.
Yeah.
So it's like on that same frequency, you're going to have good days, bad days, thoughts, feelings. So it's navigating the frequency. Okay, let's see. He actually just wants so badly. He's just so emotionally exhausted. I look for a website. It takes willingness and choice. I assumed it was good, especially for single girls. I asked the question about the married ones. Good.
Oh,
Billy
really?
says I'm annoying when I touch his junk when he's sleeping. Well, that's
How
because
would
he's
you know?
sleeping. Because it wakes him up. And he's like,
That is annoying.
Tara, I'm sleeping. She's like, but Billy, I want to tickle your pickle. That's what happens. I'm sure of it. Melissa says, thank you for this explanation. There's harmony in it all. I swear my partner has sexsomnia. It's annoying.
Oh.
At what point in your relationship do you start talking about navigating the masculine and feminine energy together? We didn't until I really started talking about it in my work. And Kevin was like, can you tell me about, like, can we talk about that? Because, like, that's really cool. And then we started talking about it. But it wasn't,
There's never a conscious talk about it either. It's like, okay, Kevin, I'm going into my masculine energy now, so you drop into your feminine. We're going to have a great time, all right? We don't talk about it. It's just a natural thing that happens now because we've learned to navigate ourselves based on the energies of the other person.
So there's so many questions. We
So
could
many
literally
comments.
stay here all night. Look at this. This is insane.
Hi, Claudia.
Claudia Natella's
Wait, it's
in
been
the
1:11 for a
house.
long time.
Yeah,
Nice that
that's
everyone's keeping it
crazy.
there.
Okay. So
Last one.
what? Which one's the last
I don't
one?
know, whichever one.
Can you use the dating process to calibrate yourself to your energetic match? Yes, because this is the bottom line is in your process, you're going to find out who you are if you pay attention. If you use dating to numb yourself, you're just going to ride the oxytocin wave. You're going to ride on the butterflies, you're going to ride on whatever's coming. But if you actually go find yourself where you get triggered, where you have expectations, where you need him to be everything for you, where if he doesn't see you, you get annoyed, if he doesn't prioritize you, you get annoyed, where you want him to do something and he doesn't, where you take things for granted so fast, like you are going to find out who you are in that process. And if you're willing to go beyond that and say, let me observe, like let me be here with this person, not with this person as I'm trying to make them fit my mold, but just what's it like to just be with this person when I have no need for them to be a certain way and I'm just looking at, is this my person? What happens? Where do I find myself wanting to change it for my comfort? Where do I find myself? And then you start to really navigate it in a way that's really powerful. And if you're already married, what you're going to find is in your relationship with your partner, if you're in a partnership long term, you're going to realize that there's a lot of your time that you spend with your partner that is in observing him for what you wish he should be, instead of just noticing him and what he wants and loves and where he's at, and also spending so much time for you and being where you want to be and how you want to be, and having your time and letting him be his way and kind of observing for a minute. So during this program, what I would love, and I don't know if Kevin is thinking up of a homework at the same time, but this is mine for you, is I want you to observe what it feels like if you're in a relationship, what it feels like right now to be in your relationship with your partner, not because of what he does that's perfect for you, but just in the observing of who he or she is. Like, what do you love about your partner? Not because she changed it to be a certain way for you, but like the individuality of the human. What drew you in? What did you love about this person before? And is it still there? And do you still see it? Like, not for you, not something that they did for you. You know, one of the things that I loved about Kevin from the very beginning is his love of sports and country music. I just loved the way he knew all the lyrics to all the songs. And I absolutely loved his excitement in a ball game or a hockey game, like the way the spirit of the game just took him over, like the most excited human being. Like, those are the two things, and they had nothing to do with me. So what are the things about your partner that you noticed about them that you loved, and do they still do those things now? If you're not in a relationship anymore, what I'd love for you to look at is two things. What are some of the things that you notice yourself lose quickly when you leave or when you are in a relationship? Like, what kind of goes? When you're single, you do this all the time. And then as soon as you get into a relationship, you kind of lose that. And then what is it in the beginning stages of a relationship that's really important to you that tends to disappear? So it's different homework for single ladies and for women in relationships.
And for men, who was it that you were at the beginning of your relationship that you could bring back now? Who was it that you were at the beginning that maybe got lost along the way? And please know this is so common. Everybody does it.
So if you're single, what I might look at is the last time you were single, what did you love most about yourself? So not this time, but the last time. If you remember last time you were single and you were really like feeling yourself and felt really great, what was special and unique about that? Because there's something about being single in hindsight that holds a very special key. So if you can think about who you were last time you were single, and actually married women can do this as well. If you think about who you were last time you were single, what was so powerful about you? Country is what we turn on when we want to center, to connect, and to go home.
And just so you know, if anybody didn't get questions answered, there's still many more days of this. We're going to answer so many of your questions. So just come back, watch, and be open to the possibility that your answer may come in a form that you weren't expecting.
This is true, and I can't wait for our call, Claudia. I'm so excited. And for those of you who've been married for a long time and you do feel like Kevin's question is for
Nice.
mamas too.
I like that.
If you've been wondering in your life, like, who am I without this relationship? I've kind of lost myself. Then this is going to be such a fun journey for you, because the person that's most important for you to find is yourself, and there's so much beauty, and what you're going to find is there's an abundance beyond abundance of love, of time, of memories to be made. Like, and when you find out how freaking amazing you are, he'll be reminded of it. It'll elevate your relationship. It'll elevate everything. So thank you for your time today. I'm so grateful, so grateful for everything.
Thank you, everybody.
Spending time with us.
We love you guys.
We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.